Hello and welcome to Swiflearn. This is Dr. Namita Shriyan taking another session in science on Swiflearn. All right, so before we can even get into the actual topic, let us first talk about this wonderful platform that we are having, and that is Swiflearn. Welcome to Swiflearn. All right. So it is India's most sincere learning destination, and it covers all the grades from grade all the grades from 3 to 10. So everybody is covered, everybody is taken care of. Right. So this is what we are talking of. It is 100% live and interactive class. Yes, we have personalized attention given here to the students. We have a batch of 6 students maximum, nothing more than that. And that is really, really good, isn't it? So definitely it helps us. We have also a dedicated team, which we call as the academic mentor team, who will track the progress of each of the students. So you get a detailed report of your wards progress, as well as for the children as well, so that they can keep a tab on how they're performing. We cover all the syllabus as per the school exams that have been scheduled, and also we handle all the custom requests. So that is really wonderful about this platform. Right. Key features, detailed progress reports. We have the SATs, that is the Swiflearn Academic Test Series. And we take unlimited practice tests, so that makes you very much prepared for your exams. We have subjective tests as well, so that you're very well prepared for your school exams. Nothing is left behind, so that everything is taken care of and you are aware of what is going on. And also in school, you definitely see an upward graph as per your progress. All right. So what do you have to do? Subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon so that anytime you get any update about any of the teachers, you will never miss an update. So you are in touch with what is going on. Yes. So let us now begin with today's topic, and that is microorganisms, friend and foe. Hello, and I can see many of the students joining. This is superb. Very nice. Today's topic is microorganisms, friend and foe. So we know that microorganisms can be good for us. Right. Okay, Chanda. Very nice. Superb. A very good evening and welcome to Swiflearn, Chanda. So you are right on time for the lecture, right? And very good to see you here. So let us talk about how microorganisms can be our friends as well as our foes. Foes in the form of, we are talking of them as enemies, in the sense they can be harmful to us also. So we are going to actually study about these and see how they're going to be helpful for us as a friend and how they're going to be our foes. Okay, so right. And this is the first part of the topic. So we will see what all other things that are going to be covered in today's session. So you are knowing what all we are going to take up today. We're going to define microorganisms because the topic is about microorganisms. So yes, we should be knowing what are the microorganisms. We'll be defining microbiology, a very, very important branch, right, of science, and especially dealing with microorganisms, right, Chanda? And we will be also be talking about the different types of microorganisms and how we name them. We'll define and differentiate between different classes of microorganisms, the bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and the viruses. Yes, viruses are something which is the talk nowadays, what with the COVID infection that is going on, and the virus is much talked about. So yes, we should be knowing about viruses as well. We'll be also talking about the names of the various diseases which are caused by these microorganisms. So yes, we'll be talking in general, quite in detail about the microorganisms. Yes, Chanda. So I hope you are ready. Hello, Saurabh. Very good evening. Welcome to Swiflearn, and you are just in time for the topic. We are talking about microorganisms, friends or foe. Okay, so let's go. All right, I'm moving ahead. So just when you look at this slide, what do you get to see? you are seeing different types of organisms in the living world, right? Yes, absolutely. And Saurabh, yes, I know, I can see. Hello, Saurabh. Very good to see students in the class. And you're in class 9, right? But it's going to help you. Definitely, this will help you because microorganisms, diseases is something which is going to be a part of your curriculum every year. So, yes, this will be very helpful for you, right, Chanda? So, not an issue at all. It always helps to attend these kind of sessions and lectures. All right. So when we look at the living world, the biotic world, as you all know, right, we get to see different habitats. We get to see different organisms in different habitats. I am live here on YouTube, right, through Swiflearn. All right. So why is that, Chanda? You can, right? I'm continuing with this. Saurabh, I will answer your query. The app, it is Swiflearn. You have to join, subscribe to this channel. You'll get all the various lectures as and when each of the teachers go live, you can attend the lectures, right? Okay, fine. So we were talking about different animals here. You can see human beings, insects, birds that fly, insects that crawl, the creepy crawlies, right? The animals, aquatic habitat, and also the microorganisms. So let us now talk about the microorganisms. Before that, we do know that the source of energy for our world, the biotic world, is the sunlight, right? And the plants are the autotrophs, they are the producers, right? So, yes, we know that. Okay, so let us move ahead and get into the topic. So when we talk of microorganisms, what exactly do we mean by that? Right? So microorganisms are those living organisms that are too small and they cannot be seen with our naked eyes. So that is why when we look around us, we know there are microorganisms everywhere, but we are not able to see them because they are not visible to our naked eye because they are really very small in size. So they can be seen only with the help of a special instrument called as the microscope. So yes, I can understand the lockdown has created a lot of problems for the students. So yes, that is really very bad. But yes, you have to understand that we are, make the most of whatever opportunities we are having, right? So I'm continuing. So we need a microscope, and because they are microscopic, can be seen only with the help of a microscope. We call them as microorganisms. Yes, I can understand you are having a pre-board. So this is a revision for you, Saurabh, right? So very nice. You're right on time for this. So we also talked about, we're going to study about microbiology as well. So what is microbiology? The microorganisms, as we said, are too small and they are found everywhere. Everywhere. You name the part on the earth, they are present. So study of microorganisms is known as microbiology. So you must have heard you heard about microbiologists, and you must have heard about people pursuing microbiology. And yes, Rekha Sharma, hello, very good evening. I'm taking your name. Hi. Right. So we are talking about microorganisms. So yes, so microbiology is nothing but the study of these microorganisms. Yes, these tiny organisms. Okay, so when you look around you, you will find microorganisms everywhere. In fact, even on the surface, on our skin, you will find teeming with microorganisms. Within our body, inside our gut, we have microorganisms. Uh, I am onto teaching, right, online. So yes, and Tanishk, hi. So yes, I can see students joining. Very nice. So if you see, even in the very harsh of climates, very hot deserts, or in the polar regions, cold, frozen regions, you will get microorganisms in all kinds. You will get to see them in the aquatic habitat. Uh, Class 10, I will definitely inform you, Rekha. All right, you will be informed. Definitely. I will do that. All right. So why don't you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon? You will get all the updates that you need, Rekha. You can go ahead with it, right? So this is exactly what we are talking of. Since microorganisms are present everywhere, we need to know everything about them, right? So I think we should believe in this, that we should know everything about the microorganisms and how they are helpful to us also, and how they are even harmful to us. All right, let's move ahead. All right, now when we talk of the microorganisms, we have different types, that is different categories that we can put these microorganisms into, right? So we have the 5 major categories of microorganisms: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and virus. So this is how we know that the organisms which are not visible to our naked eyes, we need special magnifying lens or a microscope which will magnify them, make them really very big so that we can observe them, fall under 5 categories: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and virus, right? So we will be studying each of these categories and with their examples, so you know which one falls under which category. All right. So first we'll talk about bacteria. We know so much about bacteria. These are unicellular organisms. They come in different shapes, right? Unicellular, single cell. We are multicellular, right? They are single-celled, unicellular organisms. They live in colonies of millions. You'll never find a bacteria just solitary here and there. You will always find them living together in colonies. So they are in a group. Okay, now in these, some bacteria are aerobic and some are anaerobic. Now, what does this mean? So let us learn more about it. When we talk of aerobic microorganisms or aerobic bacteria, yes, Tanishq? Yes, I knew you're going to understand this. All right, Saurabh. All right, we'll be talking about the bacteria, the aerobic bacteria. They respire in the presence of oxygen. So they are called aerobic. Whereas anaerobic, simple, they do not respire in the presence of oxygen, in the sense they do not require oxygen to respire. In the absence of oxygen, they carry out the process of respiration. Now, when we talked about the size of the bacteria, since we are putting them under the category of microorganisms, we can understand that the size ranges from 0.2 microns to 100 microns. You can imagine so tiny they are, not even in millimeters, we are talking of microns. So that is why they are not visible to us at all, to our naked eyes. Yes. The smallest bacteria has a size of 0.15 micron. We call it the mycoplasma, right? It is the smallest bacteria. So among the bacteria too, we have the smallest one, and the largest one is having a size range of 1.5 microns in size. We have to understand bacteria belong to prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means they do not have a well-defined nucleus. It will contain ribosomes. These are the structures within the cell, right? And presence of plasmid. When I talk of a plasmid, it is also a chromosomal structure, but not a part of the actual DNA or the RNA. Right? So this plasmid is very, very helpful in the process of reproduction. Okay. Now we have different types of bacteria according to their shape. Microorganisms are observed by the help of microscope. Yes. So 4 types, as I said, depending on their shape. So if they are circular in shape, can you see here? They are called as cocci. Singular is coccus. So you have your streptococcus, staphylococcus. Staphylococcus is in the form of bunch of grapes, all circular bacteria, like in a bunch of grapes. You have streptococci, which are in a long line, right? Bacillus is rod shaped. Can you see this? So bacilli is the plural for bacillus. Okay, so when the bacteria is rod shaped, we call it as bacilli. All right. Spirillum. Whenever I see a bacteria being spiral shaped, I will call it as spirillum, whereas Vibrio is a comma shape. So your cholera bacteria, Vibrio cholerae, is typically this comma shaped bacteria. So we have 4 different shapes as we learned, right? The cocci, bacilli, spirilla, singular spirillum, and Vibrio, right? So that itself, when somebody tells me Vibrio cholerae, immediately I know the cholera producing bacteria is going to be comma shaped. So if I observe that under the microscope, I get to see it in typically comma shaped. All right. Yes. Now we'll go on to the next group, the fungi. Now fungi, they look like plants. If you look at the, under the microscope, look at the plant structure, the fungi structure, you will see they appear like plants, but they do not have true leaves, root, stem, and so on. Just like, yes, Tanishq, they are helpful as well as harmful. That is why the topic's name is microorganisms, friend or foe, right? So both the things. So we are going to we are categorizing them, and then we'll actually study the details about them. The simple mushroom, you must have eaten a mushroom in so many times. They are heterotrophic. So unlike plants, they cannot prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. In fact, they are heterotrophic. They depend on other animals for food, especially they are saprophytic. That would be the best way to actually talk about the nutrition of fungi. They are saprophytic, that is, they live on dead, decaying matter and feed on the nutrients there, right? They can be unicellular. So you have unicellular fungi. The most common example is your yeast, which we use to make our bread and pizza so very soft and porous. So that is yeast. It is unicellular fungus, whereas you also have multicellular fungi. Can you see the figure here? It is a piece of bread, right, which is stale bread. So we call this as bread mold. Can you see these blackish and grayish areas? Yes, the cottony growth that you can see on the bread slice, that is fungus, the bread mold, which is growing on it, and it is going to feed. It is a decaying, it's a stale bread piece, right? Slice of bread, it is stale. So that is why it is a saprophytic nutrition that you get to see in fungi, living on dead, decaying matter, right? So bread mold is a fungus. Okay, let us see some more fungi here. We have aspergillus here and penicillium. So can you see these rounded structures at the tip? These are the spores, and it is through these spores that the fungi can also germinate. So these spores are released. Sometimes you have at the tip, like in the bread mold, you have at the tip a swollen structure, which we call as the sporangium, inside which will be the spore. So when the sporangium matures, it will rupture and the spores will be released, which will fall on the substrate like another, the neighboring bread piece. On it, it will germinate and you will get the new fungal growth there. So this is how it spreads. And fungi require nice, moist conditions, right? So that is why most of the times you see them growing in the rainy season. So yes, they require moisture and humidity. All right, we move on to the third category of microorganisms, right? Tanish, Saurabh, Rekha, Chanda, all of you all. Yes, we're talking about the third category, the protozoa. All right, these are unicellular organisms. So they're made up of only single cell, and they're found mostly in the aquatic body. So mostly you will find them as aquatic organisms. So if I take a sample of water and I then observe it under the microscope, I'll get to see protozoa. They can be solitary, so you'll get them as a single, okay, or they might be colonial, living together as a colony. So they can exist alone or they might live in colonies together. They can be free living. Just like that, in the water, they will be present, or they might be parasitic. That is, when I talk of a parasite, it requires a host in which it will live. It will live off the host. That means it will keep deriving nutrition from the host. And that is how we call it as a parasite. And remember, for a parasite to continue living, the host should be alive. The moment the host cell or the host organism dies, the protozoa or the parasite will not be able to survive. This is a major difference between a parasite and a saprophyte. A saprophyte lives on dead, decaying matter, whereas a parasite requires a living host. Remember, students, this is the most important thing that you should be knowing about parasites. All right. Okay, it means that they can live alone. So when we talk of free living, what exactly do we mean? They can live alone. So if it's in the aquatic habitat, they will be in the water, or they are present inside the body of other organisms. So the other organism inside which this parasite lives and derives its nutrition is known as the host. Okay, this particular parasite. Okay, let's see examples of protozoa. We are having amoeba. Yes, you have learned about amoeba. And here is the paramecium, a typical way to remember the paramecium. Can you see it's almost slipper shaped like a slipper, and you can see the presence of these fine hair-like structures all around its body. This is how you can identify the paramecium. Just I don't even have to see the name below, the labeling below. Just by looking at it, the shape as well as presence of these cilia. Can you see this fine hair-like structures all over its body? Yes, that is cilia. That tells me the paramecium. So these are examples of protozoa. All right. Yes, so now we are going on to the fourth category of microorganisms, and that is algae. You can see this green cover like a carpet. These are algae. They are simple, but they are non-flowering and typically water plants. Why it is called as a water plant is basically because they contain chlorophyll. All right, so they carry out the process. Yes, Tanish, they are found in water. I'll tell you the most common infection we can get by consuming contaminated water. This is to answer Tanish's question. One is you get amoebic dysentery, right? You must have heard about it. So if I do not boil my water, I have some outside food which is prepared by contaminated water. And if I consume this, I will come down with severe dysentery, right? Lose watery stools, passing blood and mucus in stools. Yes, that is dysentery. So amoebic dysentery is the most common example. So this is exactly, we talked about it. That is protozoa. So when I'm talking about algae now, it includes all the seaweeds and many single-celled forms also, right? An important thing for you to remember is they're green in color. So can you see that picture at the side, right? It is green like a carpet. So generally you'll find it on the surface of water, like a green carpet on the surface of aquatic water bodies, right? It is green in color because they contain chlorophyll, so they can carry out photosynthesis. So yes, they contain this. Common examples, Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra. Now this is a unicellular alga, right? The Chlamydomonas. And when you look at Spirogyra, can you see they're made up of long ribbon-like filaments, right? So this is Spirogyra. Yes, these are all algae. Okay. I hope your question is answered, Tanishk. All right, I'm moving on to virus now. Okay, it is also a microorganism, but remember, when we talk of viruses, we tend to categorize them separately because it will reproduce only inside the cell of the host organism. That means we cannot see a virus just like that with a simple microscope. It would be possible for the other microorganisms. They are the smallest of all the microorganisms. You can see the virus, as per their size, they're smallest of all the microorganisms, and you need specialized microscopes, an electron microscope, which would make it easy for you to visualize the virus. And believe me, we always call the virus to be at the threshold of living and non-living. So till they are outside, till a virus does not infect any cell, any host cell, it will look like nothing is going on. That cell is literally dead. But the moment it enters into or infects any cell of the host and infects it, immediately you will see rapid process. Hello, Nupur. Very good evening. Yes, we are discussing about microorganisms, friends and foe. You can see I will talk about it. Just a second. So I'll talk about them being the smallest. Remember, when I talk of a virus, they have a nucleic acid. So you will have, about nucleic acids, about DNA, about RNA. We all know that, right? So they will contain this nucleic acid and they will be covered by a protein coat, okay, around it. We call that as a capsid, okay, which will protect this core. Now we call viruses are considered to be living, as I said, when they are present inside a living cell. And when they are outside, we call them as non-living because we will not see any kind of a metabolic activity or any processes going on. But the moment it infects a living cell, जैसे ही infect कर देगा, आप देखोगे कि फटाफट you will see it reproducing immediately. And what it does is the importance or most significance of a virus infection, or when a virus infects a host cell, is that it will take over the entire mechanism of the host cell. मतलब पूरा take over कर लेगा, and it will start its own reproduction process. So what happens is, in the process, when a host cell is infected by a virus, what happens is it is almost as good as a complete breakdown of its own machinery. It will not be able to do anything for itself. The virus will take over, it will reproduce, and that is when you get to see multiple viruses. It will break open the cell and you will get to see so many viruses coming out. So that is when we come to know that there is some kind of a presence of these organisms are living. That is why we call viruses to be at the threshold of living and non-living. And they appear to be like plants, but do not have leaves and roots. So simple thing. You will not get to see them in this kind of typically like all the structures, you will not get to see them. All right. Let us move ahead. Okay. Now I'm talking about viruses further. All right. They are simple non-green plants. I wouldn't call them plants. I'll call them microorganisms, and they cannot make their own food by photosynthesis. They are non-green, so they do not contain the green pigment chlorophyll. The viruses have no metabolism, so we can call them neither a heterotroph or nor an autotroph. This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you all. When it is not infecting a host cell, you will not see any activity in this virus. But the moment it infects, you will see immediately. So we call them as parasites because they live either inside or on the body of the host organism. So they will also require a living host cell. Hello, Abhinav. Hi, and welcome to Swiflearn platform. Today's chat topic is microorganisms, friend or foe. This is the first part of this topic. We'll be having another session on this. Further, we'll be discussing. All right. Let's take the example of viruses, the polio virus. This is tobacco mosaic virus affecting, we also call it as the TMV virus, okay? It is affecting the tobacco plant. So you will get to see the leaves of the tobacco plant actually having kind of a mottling, because of this infection by virus. Remember, not just human beings or animals, even plants can be infected with viruses. So you have viral diseases of plants as well. All right. Now, diseases caused by viruses, let us talk about these. Now, when you're talking of a friend and or foe, we are talking of these as foe. Okay, some common diseases that all of us know of. Viral diseases, we have cold, common cold, flu, this is nothing but influenza, and cough. Some serious diseases are also caused by viruses like polio, you know this, polio, and chickenpox. You must have had in childhood, some children have these outbreak of small pustules on the face and the body, and then later on they dry up, the scab falls off. This is typically chickenpox caused by a virus. The fatal diseases, harmful for us, viral disease, AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Yes. Other microorganisms. I had talked about the diseases. I had talked about dysentery with you all, right? We had talked about diseases like dysentery and malaria are caused by protozoa. Dysentery, we had talked about amoebic dysentery by consuming or drinking contaminated water, by having outside food where the water that has been used has not been boiled and filtered, and we are consuming it, right? Commonly, we use, yes, Khushi, good evening. And what happens is Pani Puri is the most common favorite chart item, right? Most of us would love to have that. But we have to be very, very careful about it because these can be the source of contamination, especially with dysentery. Yes, you can get amoebic dysentery, which can really, really make you feel weak. All right, and malaria, the most rampant disease for the Asian subcontinent, right? Caused by a protozoa, that is Plasmodium. You must have heard about it. We also have diseases like typhoid, tuberculosis, also quite a rampant disease found in our country, right? So that is also caused by bacteria. All right. Microorganisms and us. So how they are important to us also. We have to understand that microorganisms, though we are talking about, yes, Hushi, when I'm talking about protozoa, these are those organisms, you can find mostly these organisms in aquatic habitats, as I mentioned, right? They can be single, solitary, they might be, or in the form of colonies together. They can, infect us. So most common example that we talk about for protozoa is amoeba, right? Very, very commonly known. From amoeba was what I talked about, amoebic dysentery, right? It is caused by amoeba. As I said, they are aquatic, so consuming this contaminated water can give rise to this disease. So for us, it is very important to understand that microorganisms play a very important role in our lives. Very, very important. Right, Kushi? So some of the microorganisms are beneficial for us. We must have, from ages, we have been talking about Vansh. Yes, hi. Vansh is also here. And Hushi, hello. Yes, so I was talking about microorganisms, right, playing a very important role in our lives. Some microorganisms are beneficial for us. They're very helpful for us. I'll tell you the most common example is your curd, dahi. We've been having it as a part of our meals every other day, right? But we have, we don't realize that it is because of these good microorganisms that we are getting to eat this very good product, that is the curd. So they are beneficial for us also. There are some others which are harmful and they can cause diseases. So along with having certain good uh, benefits or good effects for us, they also show bad effects, right? So and that is mainly in the form of diseases and infections that we have. Right. So let us first go on with this is Swiflearn, Tanishq. So you can just subscribe to the channel, all right, and click on the bell icon. So you'll get all the updates of different lectures as and when they come up. You will be getting the timing also. So we have a wide range of teachers, wonderful platform with beautiful slides. It makes your learning really, really an all-round learning, right? So let us talk about this first question. This is how now, let us talk about how the questions will come from this topic, right? Viruses, as I said, we have talked about them being, most of the times we talk of them as, otherwise we would, just looking at a virus, we would never even feel that it is a living cell, right? Abhinav, this is for your benefit. But what happens is the moment this virus gets any host cell to infect, you will get to see immediately some activity. Immediately it will start reproducing. It will produce very many viruses within the host cell by taking over the entire machinery of that host cell. It will take the energy, take all the resources from the host cell, utilize it for itself, and reproduce and produce many other viruses, which will then break open that cell, lysis we call it, and you will get many viruses. This is how a viral infection spreads, right, within the body also. So let's go to the first question, which is how the questions will be asked in your exams. Define microorganism. Okay. The living organisms that are too small and cannot be seen with naked eyes are called microorganisms. All right. यस अभिनव, मैंने आपको बताया था वायरस के बारे में दोबारा. My live classes, dear, it will be, you will have to subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon. Thank you very much, Abhinav. Yes, thank you for the compliment. Keep attending these lectures, you will learn quite a lot, right, Khushi? And you will get the updates as and when. So whenever my live classes also will be there, you will get the update and you can always join. Okay, we can make the learning process really, really fruitful and nice and interesting too. Okay, let us talk about list the different types of microorganisms that are present. All right. So we know we put viruses as a separate category, but whenever we talk about microorganisms, viruses are also part of microorganisms because they're not visible to the naked eye, of course. But the four major categories, yes, Abhinav, thank you, Tanishq, thank you so much. There are four major categories of microorganisms: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and we should also add about viruses. It is different from the other microorganisms basically because we talked about, otherwise you will not see any activity in the virus cell. But the moment it infects, you will get to see them actually functioning. All right. What is Spirogyra? You have four options. I would like it if you could also type the questions right here. I'll give you a couple of seconds. What is Spirogyra? An algae, a virus, bacteria, or fungi? So A, algae, B, virus, C, bacteria, D, fungi or fungus. Can you all type your answers? I can see your comments out here. So it would be wonderful. What is Spirogyra? We did talk about it just in the beginning of the lecture. We had talked about it. Could you all answer me this question? Come on, type your answers. I'll get to see your comments. I will take your name, whoever answers it correctly. Wouldn't that be great? Yes, so Spirogyra is A, algae, B, virus, C, bacteria, or D, fungus. Come on. Khushi, Abhinav, Tanishq, Rekha. Come on, students. Tanishq, Spirogyra. Spirogyra. Yes, I'm moving ahead and I'll give you the answer. Yes, Khushi, you're right. It is an algae. Right, Tanishq? So probably you joined a little late. Not a problem, Abhinav. Go through the slides. You can, get to know it. Spirogyra is I talked about them being made up of long ribbon-like filaments. We call it as Spirogyra. It is an alga. It is green. It contains chlorophyll pigment. It carries out the process of photosynthesis. Yes. All right. List any two diseases caused by viruses. Okay. Let us talk about it. Some common diseases which we know viral infection we call this. This is cold, common cold, flu. It is influenza and cough. Not a problem. You're most welcome, Khushi. There are some serious diseases also caused by viruses like polio, poliomyelitis, and chickenpox. Yes, Tanishq, not a problem. This is how you can really make this process a good learning experience, right, Tanishq? So you should always try to attempt these questions, right? This will help you for your exams as well. And the fatal disease that is caused by a virus, fatal, can lead to death, is AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome caused by the HIV virus. Right. Smallpox, Khushi, is now eradicated. So chickenpox, not a problem. Okay, you get a question like this. Write a short note on bacteria. So what are you going to write? Bacteria are the smallest and the primitive form of unicellular organisms. They are unicellular, made up of a single cell, and they're most primitive. I talked about them not having a very well-developed nucleus. So I called them as prokaryotes. They live in colonies of millions, and they are of different shapes. Some of the bacteria can be aerobic, that is, they respire in the presence of oxygen. Some may be anaerobic, that is, they do not require oxygen for process of respiration. Yes, S. Jaiswal, I got your answer right now. You've given the right answer about Spirogyra. Yes, it's an alga, no doubt about it. Very good. So yes, we talked about this. So you can also further elaborate if you're going to write this answer as a short note. When you're talking about they being of different shapes, you can mention the 4 different shapes: foci, bacilli, spirilla, and comma-shaped bacteria, Vibrio, right? So just remember this, how you're going to make the answer more good, and so that you won't lose even a single mark for that. All right, so what in today's session, what are the things that we have learned? Okay, so let's have a quick recap. We defined microorganisms. We came to know what exactly microorganisms are. We defined microbiology. right? The study of these microorganisms is microbiology. We also call these microorganisms as microbes, right? So microbiology is a study of these microbes. We talked about the name of different microorganisms, that is the categories, which are the different microorganisms that you get to see, that is through the microscope. We also talked about what are the different shapes, right? We differentiated between bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and viruses. We saw that among these, some are solitary, some live in colonies, some are green, so they photosynthesize like your algae, right? Some are, most of them are parasites. They only need a living host in to actually live or to be alive. Yes. Then we also have talked about fungi, which are saprophytic, that is, they live on dead, decaying matter. So these are the various classifications and finer differentiations about the different categories of the microorganisms. Then we talked about the name of the various diseases that are caused by microorganisms. We also had a special mention about this fact that microorganisms are also useful to us. They have a lot of benefits also. Vijay Pandav, hello. And they also are harmful. So you have both the sides of the coin for microorganisms. That is what we are going to study. All right. So we've come to the end of today's session, right? Where we have actually given a brief introduction about the different categories of microorganisms and what are the different types and what are their characteristics. All right. We will be talking further about them in our coming lectures, right? So it's very good. Yes, Abhinav, thank you so much. And it was wonderful to have all of you all here. Remember, if you all want any updates, you all want to attend my lectures, first subscribe to the Swiflearn channel on YouTube, right? Press the bell icon so you will never miss any update. And remember, whatever you have learned today, whatever we have tackled today on the topic of microorganisms, friend or foe, don't forget to go through the topic from your text so that becomes really, really nice and firm in your mind, so that when you come for the next session, for part 2 of this lecture, in my next lecture, you will be well prepared and you will understand what all is going on, right? So it will be really good. It was nice having all of you all. Yes, Khushi, thank you. And Abhinav, thank you. And Tanishk, thank you. It's students like you all who always encourage me. Okay, so we will meet again in our next session. Till then, bye-bye. Okay, have a good night. Rekha, yes, you're back. Good to see you. Definitely, I'll do that. You will, and please do subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. This is for Rekha also, so that you will get any updates whenever a chemistry topic that you want, classification of elements, everything will be taken up. Don't worry. Okay. So bye bye, Khushi. Bye, Tanishk, and Jaiswal, S. Jaiswal, Rekha. Yes. Okay. So bye. See you all, everybody. Have a good day. Okay.